And we are live. Hello, everyone. I am here with Jaxson Baylor. Saw him questioning his social type, curious about figuring out which one he might be. So I thought we'd have him on and we'd explore it together. So, Jaxson, why don't I ask you let's throw a curveball, which isn't really a curveball because it's a lie.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you for your first impression of me. I'm just going to steal Reggie's questions. What's your first impression of me? It might even just be us talking 5 minutes earlier.
My first impression of you, I think, was in the Discord group.
Oh no.
Yeah, a while ago, and that was cool because we were talking about the topic of like ones and fours. I didn't really understand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
because I've been obsessed with this for the longest time.
Yeah, that was the day before my like excommunication of like they were like it was a whole story.
You got excommunicated? What are you talking about? Now I need the juice.
I was in trouble, you could say, for like 3 months, and I was looking to leave anyway, kind of. But it was I got sleep last, and I wasn't even trying to like be a bad guy either. It was like a whole anyone could say that, right? But like I was caught up in my own little world, and I was like, well, this is the right way to go about it. This is vague, and then it just all blew up my face, and I was like, of course. So yeah. Anyway, it was a long story. I should have probably told you that before we got streaming, but anyway.
What is, sorry, I threw a curveball at you. I acted like we were gonna stay on track.
No, it's all right. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want to like?
Oh yeah. Well, did you troll the tribe? What'd you do?
Kind of. So I was gone actually for like 2 months. That was like just so much was happening in my life. Like I was having tidal wave after tidal wave, and I started like trying to figure out what was going on. I was like, maybe my type is wrong. Everyone's coming out with their types are wrong, right? So I had started thinking like, what could I be? I think I'm an ESFP. I see the FI, I see the SC, all these other things, but I think I'm play last instead of sleep last. Like I was on that kick.
Oh.
So I was like, I went to Dave and I was like, hey Dave, I think I'm play last. I'll make a video if you want, this and that. And he was like, no need. I'm paraphrasing. I don't know what exactly he said. He was just basically like you're probably right. It happens, right? And I was like, oh, well, can you like say that officially so that I can like go to the tribe and be like, hey tribe, I'm play last. Dave agrees. And he was just like, he jumped to like, I'm not doing this tribe whatever game. I'm trying to remember exactly how it happened in that order, but I'm pretty sure he got upset for good reason. I was like, he's like, he's not for the games, right? And I was like, oh crap, like I pissed him off, didn't mean to, and I was like, well, I'm never gonna get a full answer now. He's like, don't email me again. I was like, okay, I just apologized and I left it. And I was like, so that same week, I was like, okay, if I'm never gonna get a full answer, he kind of agreed with me. I think I'm this type. But I can't go to the tribe and be like, hey, tribe, I think I'm this now. They're not going to buy that. So I was like, dude, I crafted the email, okay? I'm not proud about this. I'm not proud about this, all right? I felt so cruddy. I was like, oh, this is wrong. But I was like, well, no one cares. I was like, no one's probably going to see this. The few friends that I have in this group are going to be like, oh, what? I didn't, and it blew up. Like it was like people were like, "What? You're this and that."
This sounds like blasphemy to my ears if I ever heard it.
Yeah.
The sacred SI.
Yeah.
Sacred sensory.
You did what? Yeah. No, it was really bad because I was just blown away by how many people like. First of all, cared. I didn't even think they would see it. I was like, oh, they'll see it, but they'll be like, oh, wow, cool. And then they made us a whole announcement, and then in Discord, they're like, he's play last night. And I was just like, and I believed that. I was like, oh, I am. So I don't, the censor doesn't matter. I'm this type. So whatever. And I felt like I was understood now. I was like, this is me. And how great is that? And then like a week later, I get an email from Dave, and he was like, hey man, like redemption arc. He was like, I looked at your video. You're doing all right, but you're not processed at all. Like you're just not. And I was like, oh no, like, oh no. I was like, well, I already did this thing, and I was like, oh, well, I was like, you know what? This is all, he's not going to see it. No one else cares. I'm just going to live my life out as a Playlast EP. It's a small change. Who cares? Right. And then like 2 weeks later, I don't remember exactly. I think it was 2 weeks later. He sends an email to me of a screenshot of the email of the what I made, and I was just like, I was just doing an experiment. That's what I said. And in a way it is. I was like, well, this is kind of an experiment, but like it's just not wasn't my intention to be all this, you know? And he was like, oh, cool. And then Shan was like, nah, that's not cool. She busted the whole thing. And I was like, I'm sorry. It's already out there. I'll delete the post. She's like, you're gonna tell everyone. And I was like, oh, I don't want to tell everyone. They don't care. I'm like, Tribe doesn't care, right? And she was like, okay, whatever. And basically kind of like just skirting along that. And then I don't know what happened later, but on one of I think it was an interview with Sherry, that Dave commented, and then someone asked Dave, "Hey, was Jackson's type official? Because why not? Because they care." You know, some DE was like, "Is it real?" And then he was like, "Nope." And then it was like, "All right, well, the jig's up." I had like a month of being play last. Started off thinking it was real, ended up not being, and I was like, "This is awful." And then they were just like, "All right, we're all pissed at you," and everyone was like, "All right, we're done with you." They like no energy, just f you. All the friendships that were like we were cool, they were just like, and I mean, whatever. I guess it's a lie in the full scheme of it, so I can't be mad about that. But I just was like, oh well, I guess well, bye. So I just left. I'm not in the Discords. My 3 months went by because Janet was like 3 months you can't be in there. That went by. So you want to come back? And I was like, well, I was kind of like I never wanted to really be in the Discords from years ago. I've been following Shan for a while. Never wanted to be part of the Discords, or like I didn't even really know about it. And then they were like, so I'm like I was kind of looking for like a tribe burn down just because I have so much in my life that I'm focused on. I don't really have time for like, hey guys, what's up? Discord, this and that. Like the pandemic was like the only time. So I was like, well, I don't really need to come back. I'm still gonna do my research, but I don't want to, So anyway, that's a little briefing on the last 8 months of what's been happening.
Last 8 months.
Yeah.
Sewed up a lot of chaos.
A lot of tribe chaos, a lot of play energy, a lot of sleep lashes. And people were like, "Oh, good joke," because I troll. I make jokes, I troll, but not like that. Like I make jokes like our obvious jokes, like for the amusement of all of us to laugh together, kind of. And they were like thinking I was trying to like do a FI, like screw you, haha. And I was like, that was not what this was about. Like,
anyway. I can see how people would think that it was extremely intentional. I mean, people project that all the time. It's like they did that on purpose. They did that on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, guys, like if I'm gonna make a joke, it's nothing funny about this. Like, always play laugh. No one cares. Well, they did care apparently, but like that's not even my style. I don't know.
That is so weird that it's been two lead SEs who did that, who threw chaos in there. They're like, we have to throw chaos in the censor. What? What's the issue?
Yeah.
What's the issue? Why are you mad?
Yeah. Yeah, just oh man. And I was like, when it happened, I was like, oh, I didn't like care that much, but I was like, why did he do it? And now after having going through this, I'm like, okay, I know why I did it, and it was just a mess. But like I said, I double decide. Okay, hate me. That's fine. That's cool. Try burn down. I just go down with the ship. I'm out. It's fine. Dave and Shan, we're still cool. And that's what matters. And I'm still like building. I got some stuff up my sleeve when it comes to like this whole ops. Like I'm really trying to build something with understanding it and this other stuff. So like going to go mainstream with that. So that's all that matters, And there's still a lot of great people in Oaks. I have no enemies. I have no malice. I was like a little like I think I've heard about it because I started it and I didn't expect it to go this way. The most reactions. I couldn't predict the emotional reaction. I couldn't FI and whatever. But like, I was like, oh, okay, that sucks. But I think it's for the better, So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
That's a lot.
But it's good. It's good that we're here to address it. Address the haters.
The haters.
Hello, haters. How are you doing? Let's be friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say my impression of you is I don't know. I'm DI. I don't pay attention to the tribe, and you just seemed like a cool guy.
Oh,
cool guy. Yeah. That people generally liked, but I didn't laugh. People were like, "Did you hear what happened with the drama?" I'm like, "What? Huh?"
Yeah. No one knows. I don't even know like the aftermath. Who cares? But like, I don't know. I was, cool with everyone. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but this is not this is my life path. Like I'll be everything great. And then I'll go and do something where in my mind, it's not going to go any way besides like, oh, it's fine.
It's fine.
And then, so I'm working on like, how do I stop doing this?
That EP life, it's stop gathering, stop doing new stuff.
I just got to stop, dude. Just got to stick with what's already established, It's working.
Like, no more new. No more new. Only same thing now.
Yes.
We are now IJs.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
I know it's hard. Griff seems to be chiming in. It's fine though. Nobody died.
Nobody died, right?
Only our expectations.
It's just
only our trust in reality. We no longer trust anyone.
Yeah.
Our innocence has died. That's the real moral.
That's what it is, man. That was the real. I'm like, this is my miniature hero's journey moment. The ego death of my persona in this whatever, and I can learn from this. Double the side, it's fine. But like the observations, I'm like, all right, but what happened? So. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I think it's time for us to move on to. Well, I want to hear more about you. I want to hear about your background.
Sure.
Life.
Yeah.
Education, kind of your career, just kind of get a baseline on what your life is like.
Yeah. Grew up. It's always hard to not do too much essay on this, but like, so grew up in a really poor environment, poor household, abusive parent figure. And one she's a double masculine EJ she's not the abusive one. She's just more like double masculine TEJ. So not like the kind of like, let me soothe your band-aids, like, so that's why I kind of like, very like EP, like on my own starting young, which I love that freedom because EP. So I'm like, all right, this sucks, but I can at least now start building my own thing, DI, whatever. And so before knowing about what types I was or what social this whatever, I felt like a drive, that fire from those experiences to be like, you know what, pave my own way, get started. So always entrepreneurial, like was trying to sell cookies to my family when I was like 6. I started printing flyers, going door to door in my neighborhood, like, hey, I'll do lawn services, like calling in the phone book when I was 15, like every number, like, hey, can I work for you? Didn't go anywhere, but all these things like kind of helped me know what I was going to do. So was in school, high school, got out kind of early. I just kind of like, just whatever, TE, got it over with. And then immediately went into like business. So I started studying business like heavy, and like I kind of like on my resume, like twisted some of the wording to get into a higher, I didn't lie, but I made it sound better than it was, okay, for sure. And I worked and I got into a job. I'm skipping. I was really not shy, but just so socially anxious. So I couldn't really express myself. No, people didn't even know I went to their school. And they were like, who are you? And I was there for like 4 years. So I had to break that mold. So I got a job as a waiter, helped me a little bit. That going from that to getting a job at a marketing firm, like rose the ranks really quickly, just like working every single day. And then they were like, okay, it's good. And then COVID started like, wait, did I skip any steps? I did. I skipped some massive steps. So left the marketing firm because I was like, I want to do my own thing. And then I started my first business when I was like 20, which is around the same time that marketing firm happened. That does well, but I didn't want to hire anyone on. So that business, after a few months, kind of failed. And so I had some success in knowing how to do it. I used that money to like help the next business. But like I went through like a burn down with that crew. We're cool now, but like I kind of went through a thing where I was like, man, like am I a bad leader? Am I a bad person? Like how did this end up this way? These are my friends. And it just didn't mix well. I kind of have two sides, I think, to me. Like I have like business side and like friend side, and like business side was focused on like how can we grow, let's work, let's do this. So I was like pushing my friends, but they were like, well, we're just, they weren't like, I think they were 3 and 4s. So they just weren't like kind of like, I was like, we can make real money and can do this and that. And they were like, well, we just kind of want to stay down here. And I was like, what are you talking about? You know, and I was slaving for this work and getting investors and all this stuff. So that didn't work out. And then I took a hiatus, learned about stuff, was focusing on myself. COVID happens. And in that COVID time, I started building a new business around like housing market and not like traditional real estate, but just building stuff. Made a lot of partnerships. Started like meeting. I was in, like Discord, like up all hours of the night, like trying to talk to people in Korea about like, well, what are you guys working on? Like just trying to be everywhere so that I could build a solid like network, and that would help me to get like investors, to get other stuff, and then that worked. And then when the pandemic was over, it was like game time, and I started like building the company, and with the investor, with manufacturer, with my friends and crew now, and we've been kind of moving steady since then. A lot has happened, but like that's not the baseline. I'm trying to like anyway. So we're here now, and I'm still doing kind of the same thing, but I've shifted to more a technical route because I want to make some other stuff. But that's basically it.
So I asked you earlier. Well, do you mind talking about it, like what you're working on
Yeah.
now? You said you
Yeah.
were engineering by trade, or
right. So in all between all of that, I studied business concepts and engineering. So I didn't have to go to school for it. I kind of just got every book. Just SE consumed everything and practiced it, YouTube, and then that was enough to like get the job done. I did freelancing work, making websites and stuff to build up my own little money. I built like 25 to 30 different like sites of my own or the clients, and that helped me get like an understanding of just like how it all works as a language model. And then before AI had got to where it was now, I was interested in learning about how that could work because I knew that there were some companies already doing it, bigger companies that already had little pieces of it, not to the degree it is now. But like I also was on the phone with a lot of people who I was connected with who were saying like, yeah, there's a lot of things changing and they're gonna come. Like this the whole alien thing, the thing, like all that stuff. I found out about like 2 years ago. They were like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming to the public. And I was like, all right. And then it's happening and I'm just like, you know, it's crazy. But yeah, what was I saying? But yeah, so machine learning engineer. So I have a company that we build specified AI tools for other companies. So it's B2B. We're just like, hey, do you want to automate like your processes? Like a recent client was a company that sells airline parts to the airlines that need to like have a fix, whatever. And they're doing really well. And I was like, well, what are your systems? Like, are you doing manual dispatch? Meaning like, are you have to email every person to do the deal? And then I'll have to call your guys to facilitate the deal. And then I got to report to your boss, like, how's the whole process? They were like, oh, yeah, it's all rudimentary. I have no time. We're making good money, but I have no time. I was like, all right, I'll build the AI bot that will do the emails, that'll give you like notifications, that'll tell you like all this stuff. Just let me know like how you want it delivered. We'll do a partnership. And they're like, cool. And that's what I did. And at this stage, we haven't even gotten to the point where we have like a niche one deliverable product, which is where you want to be, because you can just copy and paste, and you know.
Reproducible, yes.
Yeah. So we haven't gotten to that stage yet. We're kind of just like, well, we can do anything. What's the best pathway? You know, observer, like, what's the best pathway to go that's going to be the best over time? And so we were just narrowing that down. We kind of have an idea, but we're just like still in the R&D phase of just like, well, let's see what really is working, try in the market for the next few months, and then solidify once we have, you know, a prototype that is working consistently. So we tried a few things, and then once we do that, we can just scale that because we know it works. So it's just been it was a lot to get here though. Like I was in a different industry, kind of doing the same thing, but not quite at the same level. Had like some legal issues with someone we were partnered with. It was crazy, you know. And then my own personal life, like trying to juggle all that, has been a nightmare. But whatever. But like, you know, just been trying to like build something better that's gonna last, you know, outlast me. That's kind of it. It takes time.
That's super cool. And honestly, I'll tell you, I find that all very inspiring that you've been able to jump between all these things and build up so much. And it's something I'd like to learn. You know.
Thank you, man. I'll say that. And I mean, you're number one, so you can
It
do
doesn't mean jack shit. This is what I have to tell everyone.
You're right.
Being a one doesn't make you special.
You're right. But you're NE though, and you're sleep last. Like you're so extroverted with DI. It's such a cheat code. Like I believe you guys can do whatever you want to do, bro. So like it's all about just narrowing down kind of like what you want to do and just like playing around in it. Anything could be successful, and like just trial and error. I've failed so many times. Like it's unbelievable.
It does seem like the ESFP. One other thing was that was in the class today. That released today was Dave mentioned that it does seem like the INTPs and the ESFPs are pairing up on AI.
Right. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I mean, we've seen that. We saw that with the woman who made the emotion app too.
Right. Yeah. I was watching that class and I was like, okay, I see what's going on here, but like, how does she think that was going to be like this thing? I don't know. It was enough to get people interested, but I was like, that needs some more tea on that. Like, that's just not what we're gonna fly.
Oh, like the marketability of that app, that it was for like.
Yeah, it just was kind of dumb to me. I was like, this whole emotional reading thing, like, especially she doesn't know the obstacle. Maybe I'm.
Well, okay, this is the point I always make to people is that's a technology that already exists that we could literally use for Ops AI.
Yeah,
tracking emotion, demon states.
I think it's a lot to be discovered there. There's a project.
I mean, like, let's just assume Facebook's using it to watch your emotions as you're scrolling through. I'm sure that she already sold it on the back end.
Right. Somebody's using it somewhere.
We need to check how much that company is worth right now and start sweating bullets.
Oh man, bro. Speaking of that, Zuckerberg came out today or yesterday with a new Meta thing where they're using like personalized AIs for each category, like sports, for your weather. They want it to be integrated like in your life, and they use the ultimate famous people as their faces representing for that because they got so much money. Whatever. But like I thought of that 3 years ago with therapy. I was like, therapy AI, you make an index of all the therapy knowledge there is, and you train it to based off of a very personalized system for the culture, for the people, for the age demographic, for all those things to provide a tailored idea. And you just wrap it with the face that is familiar. They can choose any face they want. They can have Jordan Peterson talk to them directly or their mom, and they can just talk to it. And I still have that up my sleeve for later, but I'm kind of like watching the tribe right now because like all the SFs are like, Zuckerberg, you suck, you're all NT, and I'm just like from afar, like we'll just see what happens before I leave with anything,
we're all processing it. We're all processing the changes we're going to go through, but the last 300 years have always been crazy changes.
Man,
what I always find funny is that like our tech is actually weirder than our science fiction.
It really is. Like it's not only for one, it's like eerily on the nose. I'm like, someone either went to the future and came back and were like, yep, this is what's gonna happen. Cinema is just telling you what's gonna happen. But like, or in its own way, not everything, but like a lot of it is like, all right, are you guys trying to make this a real thing? Like it's so annoying. But like, and then a lot of it is like way more advanced in its own right, like what you said. There's no jetpacks, but there's Twitter.
It's like in the future. Well, there were like movies and stuff that predicted cell phones and stuff, but they didn't predict like how the AI would create. Like they don't think of the ramifications of like computer generated art, which we will no doubt see like the ramifications of.
Yeah.
And like, yeah,
it's gonna be so much of everything, and but like, I'm always confused by the fear of everybody. It's like I'm not confused. I understand it, but like, and a lot of times the double observers that I hear who are like, but the people are doing this and screwing us over, and I'm like, but you can double observe, so you can see how history plays out. If
the people band together and.
Right. So I'm like, it's going to be fine. Like, yes, a few people are going to be screwed over, but like, they're not going to be dead. Like, there's going to be something that the general population recuperates, and usually that's Dave's message, right? Like everyone's kind of figures it out, even if you have to go through hell for a little while. But like,
well, I was wondering, we were having conversations in the Discord about AI, and that was kind of funny. I saw the deciders getting upset about the AI, and the observers. There'd be times, but there'd be times where we were like in a flow state, where the deciders were afraid of the AI because they were personifying the AI.
Right.
It's a person.
Right.
And where the observers were like, well, if the AI becomes a person, we'll just talk to it.
Right.
We'll just befriend it.
Right. We'll just do all the stuff.
Like, it depends on your perspective. Like, it's this, when you're looking at it from a different angle,
right?
Like, it looks different.
Right.
It's like, well, now we're personifying the AI, so the observer's like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah. Like, this is a person.
And the designer's like, ah!
Yeah. They're like, wait a second, a perfect person that can see everything? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
But, like, there were moments where I had existential crises where I was like, at the time, my goal was to write.
Right.
And I was like, AI is just going to pump out all this art and it will just get buried. And I was like, what will I do? And I just had to process that for a while. Like, that lopsided observer possibility.
Right.
Whereas I had to square it and go, nah, you got to work with the technology. You got to not fear it. It's a tool. It's going to open up new avenues, which is a neat thing to say. But absolutely.
My favorite thing was to watch those videos of when like the .com boom happened, like 90s, or like when credit cards came out, and everyone's just like, it's the end of everything. Like, we can't live like this. And now it's so like, no, even like the internet. Like, the internet's not a question. It's like all the things attached that you could use for this, like, the dark web and the Web3 and all this other stuff. Like, the internet's the baseline to even get to this point, And I mean, there's gonna be some hurdles for sure coming. Like, it's not gonna, like, depression was a real thing. They survived, but it was a thing that happened. And it's more about like, okay, well, I can spend all day today afraid and doing nothing about it, or I can just say, I'm gonna carry on life as usual, but also trying to have a plan. Like, what am I gonna do? Well, let's just try to build something. Oh, well, if I don't, if everyone's suffering, then that's going to create an opportunity for everyone to work together. So, like, if everyone's...
That's a good point. That's a good point. There have been times where I was like, oh, someone I didn't like got voted in, and I was like, oh, this is great.
Right.
Because everyone's mad.
Yeah.
Little did I know. That was just my perspective at the time. It was like, oh, yeah, like, we're all lazy until there's a reason to fight. We have to have a reason to fight. I've talked about this so many times. It's like, it seems like the human psychology will fall apart without the pressure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And Joe Rogan talks about that. I think this idea. I mean, not just him, but it seems to be the most popular right now. Talking about this whole the pain equations, the growth mindset. And it's like the human body doesn't have the pressure applied to it. And this is why I love. People are controversial about Jordan Peterson. I don't really care about all that stuff. But what he's saying is that, hey, make yourself useful by stop trying to avoid pain at all costs. Because usually you do the IJ thing where you try to do so much planning on the front end, and the back end gets screwed over. And so you're trying to avoid all this pain on the front end, and it's not going anywhere. You're just piling it. You're just like, sleep less. Let me just push it all over here. And then finally, when you get to that point, it's like, oh, I'm going through infinite amounts of pain consistently,
Oh, it's similar. It's the same for all of us. It's the same pain equation.
You just gotta take it in as it comes, and then enjoy the highs. Like Andrew Huberman, who's the neuropsychologist, he was in Chicago today, actually.
Oh, really? Someone was posting about. Was that? Never mind. But like, he's there.
He's here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the show sold out. I was looking at how to can't get it. It sucks. But like, I didn't even know he was coming. Whatever. But like, he said one thing that really stuck with me. He said a lot of things, but one thing that stuck with me in the sense of like, whenever you achieve a high, whatever it may be, or even if you have a great party or whatever it is, and you're like doing all these awesome things, and you're having full of this dopamine pouring through your brain, and you're feeling awesome, and then all of it's like somehow you're gonna have a lull. You're gonna get back to work. It just thing, and you're like, I feel awful right now. I want to go back to this lifestyle. So your brain is going to say, we got to solve this problem. We're not having any positive emotion. How do we fix that? Let's just do something that's like maybe a smaller version of it, but awesome. Indulging in substances. That's anything you want. Ice cream, chocolatitos, whatever, booze, whatever it is, sex. People will run to all these things to get a high, and then they're just nuking that system in their brain that builds the pleasure in the process. So like that was something that was so hard for me. At Sleep Last, right? SE.
Doing
so much.
You're going after it so hard.
Oh my God.
And it's masculine consumed.
It's masculine consumed. So it was killing me because I was doing so much. Like I would be at a bar with a bunch of friends and I'd be sleeping in the booth, like because I'm so tired and just like I don't want to go home and feel bad. And as a kid, you have to sit with it because you don't control your atmosphere. So I was like, when I get older, I'm gonna do anything I want. And then you realize the lows are getting even lower. The highs are not getting as high.
Yep.
Like, and I had substance abuse when I was a teenager because I went through like a lot of other stuff with gangs and this and that. So like now I really have like, okay, work hard. In the process, you'll feel better because your brain will reward yourself for working towards the goal.
Yeah.
You don't have to create one for it, create a jubilee for it. It'll give you one. And then when you finally hit that high, you go, this feels good. I'm not going to overdo it. I'm going to enjoy this moment. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to remember that process.
Have you had these moments where you're starting to like, you had to go through a thing where like, oh, I'm doing SE. Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm doing SE. Fuck.
Yeah. Every single time. Yeah.
I'm having to catch myself throughout the day. That's any. It literally for me, it's having to realize, stop projecting emotions into the future. Stop projecting emotions into the future. Right. Stop projecting emotions into the future. Like that's what it is for me.
Yeah.
It's like what? Yeah. It's like I'm like, this is all day.
Oh my
all
God.
Day. It's so bad.
It's the worst when you're with other people and you can hear yourself doing it and you can't stop.
Well, or you're on autopilot and you just like.
Yeah.
It's like I was talking to some ST and they're just like giving me some info about some place I'm gonna go on a trip. They're like, oh, you can go to this place and this place. And all of a sudden I just start going, Enchanted Rock? Is it magical? In their face. Trying to make it fucking joke or like make it funny, or they're just like
cracking.
Just too much all at once. And I'm just like, oh, I was in a flow state, like, God damn it.
It's so easy to get into it, man. I mean, it's your gift and your curse, Like, no one can do it but the Savior.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. At least we're aware of it, right? That's a good step.
Yeah, we're on the path. I think so. Okay, Jaxson.
IJs.
Yeah, we're IJs now. We're gonna go through the 7 questions.
We're locked in.
All right. Okay, first question. If you could be, what would you want to be famous for?
For building something that was really useful to the tribe, which sounds very TIFE like, but that's just my FI is like, if I'm going to be useful, remembered.
Useful for the tribe? No.
Right.
Useful for
I know, right?
For the tribe.
Yeah, I know. Right? My thing is like, if I want to be someone who they think about, because the SF I figured that's easy, right? So like I'm not like the Elons and Musk are trying to figure out like Elons and Mark Zuckerberg are like, how do we get more SF? Hey guys, or is this SF? And they're like, no.
Well, you guys like me?
Yeah, right. It's like margarine. It's not quite the same, I can do that. Okay, if I get to that level, fine. He dresses whatever. Like that stuff's whatever. But like the part on the back end, I'm like, I want to actually do something like in the SE that hasn't been done before. So I'm like, how can I create something that is going to be useful, like actually helping the tribe and give me that high of like, wow, I finally created something tangible in the universe that the tribe values and that I am now valuable to them for these reasons. I'm also like a little bit cool because that's FP, whatever. So like, I'm like, I can do both of these at the same time. I just want, I'm chasing that NT of like, I just want to be NT. You kind of already are just because whatever, but like just trying to appear that way. Like, so I want to be famous for he made a big thing and it's helping people. And that's kind of it, you know. When I was younger, I wanted to be the youngest director ever that was successful.
Director of movies?
Filmmaking, because I love filmmaking. It's not a lucrative career to jump into unless you're kind of already on the launching pad, you know. So I was like, it's not realistic. I'll come back to this when I'm old, and I will. But I've always had like I want to be known.
The very best. Like no one ever was.
Running in slow motion, you know.
To catch them is my real quest. To train them is my cause.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like on the mountaintop, you know, which sounds very number one like, but I've heard number two say that too, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I've formed an opinion. I will tell you, I've formed an opinion on how you're talking. So
okay.
But I will not share it yet. We're gonna go through the questions. What?
I don't want to be biased. Save it till later. I'm gonna start tailoring my answers to what you say. So I'm gonna I don't want to do it. So I'm ready.
Okay, question number 2, Jackson.
Let's hear it.
What would constitute the perfect day for you?
Oh man, I got this one. All right. I wake up early, by the way. Wake up early because I don't have anything to do the next day.
And you're not tired.
And I'm not tired. I wake up on my own just before 7, sometime before 7. And I get in my car, I go to the beach. I do some swimming, but like when the sun's coming up on the water, I used to do this all the time when I was younger. I swim a little bit, I'm enjoying it. I take a second, I'm reading, meditating. I'm like writing in my journal, just very sleep state stuff, maybe run along the beach, whatever. Afterward, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go and get some breakfast. So I go get some breakfast, kind of get the same thing, steak and eggs and hash browns, whatever. I'm like, sick, this is great. I go home, I shower, I change, I go to my art studio, and I'm like working on projects. It's just a warehouse with different crap in it. But like, I'm like, what do I want to work on? I could build this, could build that. So I'm like maybe doing woodworking, or I'm like painting, or I'm working on like an idea I had, like, just drawing it out, trying to get whatever. And just enjoying that for a bit. And obviously music's playing, just kind of vibing. It's not like work as much as it is just me like, let's go, feminine NT, let's just go outer spraying and what can we do, no rules. So something like that. I do that for the afternoon, and then I probably get hungry and go get lunch. Come back, and it would be a perfect day if there was a function that night, because I want to go out. I do want to do the play, right? So I'm like, it doesn't have to be a big thing, but just if my friends are getting together and we're gonna like go and do some, whatever, some actual planned thing, I like to do that because I get, it's fun. We're, doing the back and forth. Do that for a few hours into the night. We have dinner, and I come home and I get like a chocolate bar or some ice cream or something and watch Hey Arnold until I fall asleep. And I love Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold.
Or Cowboy Bebop, but I usually watch that when I'm like not feeling amazing. But like Hey Arnold is like a go-to comfort show. So I'm gonna do that till like 3 a.m. because I don't have anything to do the next day so that's my perfect condensed day,
Okay, cool. Interesting. I'm still seeing social type in you. As you're talking about that. I'm not gonna say which one. It's a 4.
If I was a 4, I'd be like, oh, this is great. This is great.
That would be.
How did I get here? This is great. Like, I don't know. Because then, Well, anyway. All right. Anyway.
Okay. Let's keep going. Okay. Question number 3.
Okay.
For what in life do you feel most grateful?
Oh man, my life right now, which sounds cheesy and like cliche, but like there were so many times in my life where I just didn't think I was like, I was like, man, I don't know, this isn't looking good. Like when I was in my late teens, I was like going through, like I went through the darkness kind of already. Like, Dave was talking about, you gotta go through the darkness. I went through that when I was really young, like between like with coupled with the abuse from my father, and then like so that gave me a lot of lessons early. And then kind of like trying to process that, going through, puberty and all these other things at the same time. It was just so much dark emotions that I was like, I don't know if I'm going to even, living in a bad neighborhood, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it that long. I was like, probably 21 is when I think I'll, you know, a lot of my friends were dying or going to jail. So it was just like, it was a really interesting time. So I was like, if anything happens to where I can somehow crawl out of this into a different world, I'll be so thankful. And
Yeah.
it literally happened. I was like, you know, when I was 18, I made a decision to start taking responsibility for my life, and I was like, you know what, like, I my family doesn't need me to do anything for them, but I want to be the person who's going to take it on my shoulders and say, hey, let's get to a new world. You know, let's climb out of this. And it took some time, and you know, I had a lot of things that I wanted too. I was like, I want to, you know, have kids one day, and I want to have a nice life, and I want to do help people who were like me, who felt despondent and felt like, you know, nothing is possible without someone helping you and giving you a hand. I want to go, no, 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 you can do anything you really want to do if you
Mm-hmm.
be realistic with yourself and go, what are the steps, and how can I at least start working towards thinking about getting towards those steps, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so now I'm here today, and I'm not like, you know, hit all my marks and doing all these things. I'm still young, but like, I really feel like just mentally, I haven't been depressed since then. You know, I've gone through a lot of hard things, even harder than things I went through back then. And I still feel like I've been able to say to sort of like I caught the sauce, whatever it was that teaches you to like, let's crack the code. I feel like I cracked it back then, and that I can just now it's about just applying the new lessons I'm learning. So it's like, all
Mm-hmm.
right, what do we got? Okay, I've seen that before. Okay, I'm not afraid of what's going on over here. Like, it's just moving through it slowly. Don't be afraid of the pain. It's gonna help you. So I'm just thankful that right now I've been able to look back at that younger self and go, wow, we're here. You know, we did something.
I'm curious. Was there anything in particular that helped you sort out the trauma, or did you have to, as a sleep blast, just fucking
Right.
go and just keep moving, or
It
was there
started
was there?
off.
Go ahead.
It's a great question. No, because it started off as just like let's go. I had like a lot of anger that I was holding on to, and just
Mm-hmm.
negative emotion, and I was using that to drive me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started seeing as business was going that my brunt force, this willpower was starting to wane. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't like just do the thing, you know? I'm like, I'm not getting old. I'm like 21, 22, you know? I'm like, why am I kind of like not being able to just sort of jump at it and just wrestle it down, bloody, whatever you want to call it, and make it work? And I was like, you know what? I'm the same pain I was feeling has just decreased. You know, like you change your life, you grow, you learn, you're maturing. So you're not going to feel that same, like it was about your worldview back then. And my worldview has expanded. So that
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to fill the same shoes, you know? So I really had to just be like, well, I did have to sleep process, even if it was minuscule. I was like, what do I really want to do? Who do I want to be? You
Mm-hmm.
know? So I had a miniature, like, or whatever you want to call it, ego death, where I go, you know what? I don't care about this. I don't care about other stuff here. I don't care about this. And my friends are not going to want to be my friend anymore because I don't have the same outlook anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
those who do are my friends for life. And it was true. I lost like all my friends because they were just like, well, you know, we're used to going off and just, you know, kind of conniving. It wasn't a good friend group anyway, but like that was the people I came up with. And I was like, nah, man, I'm going this way. And they were just like, well, you know, sorry. But like that moment was like, all right, well, now I don't have to like just knock these doors down. I have the freedom to like, to strategize. Let me take my time. I got nobody rushing me. I got nothing going on. Let's just figure out the right way to get here so that I won't have to backtrack later and undo a bunch of crap. And I mean, it's never a foolproof method. I still got stuff I've got to undo and work on, but it could have been a lot worse, I think, you know. Just being realistic with my results to my expectations level was the biggest thing, I think, you know. I don't know if that answers the question.
Well, I mean, what did I ask you? How did you resolve with the? And you were like, I moved through.
Right, right. No, no,
I
no.
had to slow
Yeah,
down,
it just
and
took
then I
time.
moved through, and I had to.
It started off that way, and then I was crashing a lot. So then when I
Yeah.
had a few trial burn downs that made me go back and say, what kind of person am I? That's when I started taking charge of like, oh, well, we got to change. if we're gonna do anything good and we're gonna be a person that people want to even be around. People just want. They're like, you suck, kind of like this is cool, but you're insufferable. So I was like, oh,
well,
let me
it's got to be harder being sleep last because you're going at it so hard. It's up front.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm a mope. I'm like, and I'm mad, and I'm like secretly mad at everyone, and it's like, it's not that I'm not. Then I do have swings where it's very extroverted.
Right.
That is where I'm like, holy crap! But it's because I was a mope. It's because I was spending too much time being a mope.
Got it.
Yeah.
I be the mopes. I envy you guys. At least you know what's going on, you know. At least you know
up here, not out there.
I mean,
no experience.
Like, I think all this starts sorting itself out if you kind of have like a roadmap, you know. Versus like it's like you guys are maybe driving slower, but you know where you're going. Versus like I'm going 100 miles an hour, and I'm like, I hope I get to where I'm heading towards, and I'm like I'm crashing into people, I'm hitting other stuff, like it's just there's smoke coming from the hood. Like I'm just like I gotta get there, you know. And Demon and I sleep last is like I don't know what's coming, so I really have to get there now. Like it's just like it's so it's enabling and debilitating, you know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Problem.
I just saw a comment. I just saw a comment from Griff. He's trying to goat me. He's trying to goat me. I won't let him.
Griff,
it wasn't my nose.
Griff is hilarious, dude. Love you, Griff.
Love you, Griff. No, I'm not gonna fall for that.
No.
Okay.
No competition.
Next question.
Yeah, next question.
What do you most value in friendship, and what does friendship mean to you?
I most value in friendship. So my best friend John has been my best friend for like 7 years now, and the thing I value most, that I think has separated our friendship from others, is that we're just super honest with each other, very blunt honest with you. And I don't think someone's really my friend unless they're like just brutally honest with me, not to hurt my feelings. There's a difference between like I'm trying to hurt you and I'm just gonna poke, versus like, hey, this is the SC and the NF of what's going on with you, and I want to help you as we work together, you know. So he's always just been so honest with me, and that coupling that, because I have friends who are really honest with me, and we make good business partners. But for friendship compatibility, we have to be able to like just laugh together. Like, we have to kind of like our FI has to kind of be in cahoots a little bit. And him and I like I don't laugh harder with anyone than with him. Like we're just on the same page because he's a mopey ESFP actually. He's just I think he's yeah. So it's kind of works. You know, we're the same sort of mind. But I just value right. So okay, honesty, loyalty for sure. Like I need to know you're going to be with me, because I'm going to be with you if you're with me. But if I feel like anything's going to get in the way, I'm not saying if I murder someone and go to jail, you got to be like, yeah. But I mean, like within reason of ethics, like I need to know you're still going to be with me. And then just kind of being on the same page with our outlook. If you're just like, yeah, I'm not going to try to be better, then I don't really think we're going to do well. So there was a two-part to that question. Did I answer both of those, or I don't know.
Well, I just like to see people interpret the question. What does friendship mean to you? What does friendship mean to you? There have been times where people just waffle. I'm like, I'm trying to see your reaction. Just something like,
right. It's good.
I don't have but you gave a sensory example, and a lot of people have not given sensory examples. I'll just say that.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
SC for the win.
Let's see for the win, and it's a good example. And I feel like I'm still seeing your social type. I feel like I'm still seeing it.
Oh boy, okay.
And I see something I'm not seeing as well.
Oh, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
We're gonna find
out. Okay. Next question: what, if anything, is too serious to be joked about, in your opinion?
That is a variable question, because I love comedians, and I just love comedians. Like I love laughing. Like I love the craft of being a comedian. I think if I wasn't who I was, I would be going that way. And the reason I say that is because you can kind of joke about most things depending on the context and the audience, right? So I'm not going to go around and make out of taste jokes like about, you know, the Holocaust or like things that are like just not funny for the sake of saying it, you know. I know I have friends who just say things to get attention more to be more even than it's funny. You know?
Yeah, I see that, and I see people making jokes as low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
It's like I make that joke because that's just the joke I make, and that's how we connect, and that's what we connected on, and I can't come up with anything else. It's like, and usually they're just processing something, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
it might be.
You know, it's definitely a lot of things. I think if they're like, well, the tribe's not gonna like me anyway, so I might as well be the cause of it because he's having control of that. Like I see a lot of that going on, you know.
What was that? Yeah, I can hear what you were saying as well.
So like they were just like people think that the tribe is eventually not gonna like them, so they'll be the cause of it. They'll do it, and they go, at least I have control over what happened. Especially if they're double. My ENTP friends do this a lot, where they'll do things that is gonna piss off the tribe because they can see the FU value, but they think, well, I know they're not gonna like this, but I'm in control of this outcome, so at least I can accept this death without feeling like I got blindsided, you know. And that emotional kind of blindsided that happens when they don't know it's coming makes it harder for them to connect. And most ENTPs that I also have in my life are like jokes, but they're the comedians, you know. They kind of know she's escape. They're doing all this, the analysis, they're saying the things. So like, I know that's not quite the question, but like I'm just saying like how that works as a dynamic for jokes, right? So if a joke about dogs dying is gonna hurt you very hard, I'm not gonna probably say it, you know. But like with someone else, I could be like, I could say, oh well, you know, like roll a dog up and make dog chips out of it, or something stupid, right? And he's gonna laugh, you know. I don't joke about atrocities really, just because I don't think it's very funny. It's kind of low hanging fruit again. It's like, you know, 9/11 jokes can be funny now sometimes if someone's saying it that isn't about certain aspects of it and it's more around the joke, whatever. Like I'm not trying to be a moralist here to pick, you know, what's right and what's wrong, but I just don't really think there's a line where you can't say that, you know. And I'm like, well, what's the context? Why is he saying it? Who is he talking to? Double decide. Whatever. You know.
So I will share an old joke I used to use because I was in a Discord and we were discussing racism.
Yeah.
I said they were like, and then we're like, when is it? And I'm like, here's my joke from college.
Okay.
We had two people named Nick.
Okay.
One was white and one was black.
I know this is going. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I said, okay. And I pointed at the one who was white and I said, we call him Black Nick. And I pointed at the black one, I said, we call him White Nick. And so, because if we call them by their race, that would be racist.
Right. Okay.
So when anyone else joined the group, we'd go, oh, go talk to Black Nick. They'd be like, what? And I'd be like, what, Black Nick? And I'd point out the white one. Right. And then they'd be like people's heads would just explode and be like, everyone would just be like, yeah, this is normal.
Yeah.
Because it'd be racist to call him Black Nick. How dare you? No. How dare you? Like,
yeah.
So it's literally just like setting up a landmine for everyone to like walk into. Like you say it and everyone just has a straight face. Like, go talk to Black Nick. And it's like, I've called him Black Nick. It's like, what? You thought Black Nick was black? You racist?
Yeah, like you're the one who thought of it. Like you stereotyped it. It's so funny.
How dare you? How dare you?
They're like so offended. Yeah.
What?
People would get so weird.
No, everyone was in on it. Everyone thought it was funny. Like it was always just like everyone was always surprised. Like
off guard, right? Huh?
You're turning it around. You're like,
yeah. They're just like, wait a second. Especially the deciders are just like looking around like, you can't say that. No, it's so funny. So funny though. Yeah, I don't know. I just like, I mean, like I said, some jokes are maybe not funny or distasteful or whatever, but being like, you shouldn't joke about said topic ever. I can't think of one. I don't know.
I guess I go for the ones where it's like you flip it around and surprise people with expectations, like they expected something else, and
Right. Yeah.
and we've talked about that before in interviews where it's like you've seen the comedians are like the healers. We've seen the comedians often will be like the healers who will get the two sides to laugh together or stuff like that.
Right.
Bridge the gap.
Yeah.
So it's like but it's a time and a place. We don't want it to be one-sided or mean-spirited or any of that, you know.
Yeah, I did some studying about what satire, like its origins and like the types of satire and this and that, and like the idea behind it is to like for us to, it's always if anything uses laughing, even if it's indirectly, it's laughing at the kind of the SI, which is why I think the ENPs do really well because it's like let's look at why we as a society have built an idea around this that is either sacred or it's going to be something that's not sacred, but something that's well established.
Can't question that.
Right.
We don't talk about that.
Right. And see
you don't question that. That doesn't change.
That can't get in.
That can't change.
No, nothing. It's all very whatever. And like, see how quick that unravels if I poke a hole in it. It's like here's a loophole to your theory. Here's a loophole to your perspective. That's why TI can do really well on it because they're always kind of building that, right?
Yeah.
And then the FI humor of it is just like, it's just like I'm self-amused by the perspective of the tribe, or by kind of like taking out something we don't think about or process because we're so normalized to it. And then let's look at this thing, and why do we do this? What is this perspective? And go, oh yeah, I do feel that. And you're like, I didn't even notice that I'm having that reaction mentally or emotionally until you just brought it to my attention. It's just very observational.
Well, Shan called me out in the live stream when I went on and talked at the end, and I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And she goes, why, intuition, do I want this? I literally said those words, and she said it. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. So I'm like, why is the why? Why? All the time.
And yeah. Now I'm always like, let me prove this to you. Let me prove this. Or it's with that vibe. It's like, I like this. I don't like this. I like this. I don't like this. I hate when you're with your friends and you're just like, I don't like that. And people are like, well, no one asked that. I'm like, oh no, that sucks, dude. Here's my FI. Let me just push it on him. And they're just like, all right,
Well, your FI is dog shit. You can leave, sir.
Like, right. And I do that. I'm like, you may go. Your FI has been denied. Like just eviscerate them. But I do it in an ESFP way where they don't even think. I definitely poked at their FI, but I said it in a way they're just like, oh well, this is kind of funny, so it's all right. And I'll throw myself under the bus if I go a little too hard. Gotta be like, all right, double the side accurately. If I gotta balance the scales here.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. Well, sometimes I don't see it, but I feel that. It goes too far. Okay.
Yes.
I think we're ready for the last question.
Last question.
How do you cope with the fact that you will one day die?
That's a cheat code for me because I was always encountering it when I was younger, so I accepted it. And now as I'm older, I'm not that worried about it because it's kind of like there's nothing you can do about it. And anything I can't really do anything about, I don't really give it that much energy because I got so many other things that I got to fix.
I got too many problems to worry about death.
Really, dude. I'm just like, what am I going to do? All right, I die. No one's, okay. That's the end of the story. And that's where the movie ends. I feel like at least I'm going to make today, like, let me do something, not today only, but like, let me do things each day that I can, if I died, I would be like, well, at least I'm working towards whatever I was doing.
Yeah.
I hate to die just like, hair and beard growing out somewhere, just like I gave up on life, just like didn't try anymore. Like that's the thing I was most afraid of, is just giving up. Because I see people give up and I'm like, why do they just let themselves die internally, And I just didn't want that to happen to me. If I'm alive on the inside, the outside doesn't matter. I'll die on the outside because I had here, I don't know.
Well, what you said made me think of when people complain. And as I started to look at the world closer and closer and write out my fucking bullshit, insane goals that I used to have,
Sure.
I started to go, holy shit, what is the only thing I have control over?
Right.
Me. I don't have control over any of this stuff in the world. Any of this.
Yeah.
And how would I be able to what would I have to do to get control over that?
Yeah.
It's bonkers. And when you start to realize, oh, you're the only variable that you can control. You're
responsible for all of it, you know? It's like, oh well. Even the ones that aren't your fault, the outcome, the result is still on you, you know. So I don't know. I thought about that today actually, which is so funny we were talking about it. It's serendipitous. But I was like if I died today, I'm just like, all right, well, I think people are like, oh, but you know, what about the afterlife? And you know, all my control's gone because I can't stop death. It's like, well, okay, then don't fight it. Like, if you can't fight it, don't fight it. You know, you're getting anxious over something that you don't even know. You don't know. You know. We'll just see. We'll just SC play chaos. We'll just see what happens. You know.
Yeah. What I do sometimes then comes to like, oh, if I die doing something stupid, I'm like, maybe, hopefully, I'm just an example for the next guy.
Right.
Or if I'm good, if I do really well, I'm a good example for I want to be a better example.
Oh man, yeah, that's the real key. Like, you know, every day is extra if you die to yourself. You know, you're like I'm not really living for me anymore. So now that other people can say, oh well, he was able to do the thing, and I can do the thing now too, and then I die happy. You ever see Planet of the Apes, the new series?
I didn't see all of it, but
I didn't see all of it either. I saw the last one though.
Okay.
Well, if you haven't seen the last one, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But it was very heroic. All right. Well, forget all that. I can't.
No, but the thing is what you're saying is absolutely right. It's like it's part of our journey is we have to be able to see, oh, someone else has done that, has dealt with this, therefore I don't have excuses. You have to put those two and two together. There has to be the mentor figure or the adult who's been through it.
Yeah.
And
he can do it, I can do it.
He can do it, I can do it. Or if he can do it, then what do my excuses mean anymore?
Right.
Or why am I making excuses? Like stuff like that. Okay. That's all the questions. I am sure you are savior responsibility. I will tell you that.
For sure.
For sure. I'm quite convinced. Yeah, I'll tell you that.
All right. But friends or flex? Who knows? Who knows?
I think you're a 2, sir. I think you're a 2.
A 2? No way.
Yeah. I think you're a 2. Yeah.
That's so interesting. Why? Okay. Huh.
Like, you're doing a bunch of stuff. I did not see you flexing. I did not like the flexing with the ones. It's hard to stop.
Really?
I don't know how I'm doing anymore, but when maybe you've just been through more and you're just more ego deathy or whatever.
I don't know.
But you had the ones seem to go like, I'm gonna go off.
Right.
Like, I'll come back for the friends.
Right.
As like the 2s are more like, come on guys, right now. Like it's a bit more. Yeah, I did not see you flexing. I saw so much. I saw responsibility in friends. That's what I kept saying.
I'll take that.
That's my opinion though. So
your opinion is valid because you are outside perspective to my own self. Because I was thinking, I thought I was 2 for a while, and then I was like, I think I might be a 1 because like I was thrown off. because there's some videos that were talking about how one's flexing isn't always like, because there's obvious flexing, right? Like we all see obvious flexing of just like, look at my look at whatever, my lifestyle. And there's flexing where it's like, which sounds like responsibility, like that Wally Wallerson whatever guy, and he was that fighter pilot that double matched in ESTP.
Yeah, I remember.
So it's like, well, he's flexing because he just won't shut up about himself, just being like drive, dedication, whatever. So when I watch the one videos, I'm like, okay, I get what he's saying. Like, I've always felt pretty persistent about like just trying to go after what I want. But I guess, is it for the flex or is it for the responsibility? Is it because I'm driven to be at the top, or is it because I just want to be independent? But I love my friends. Like I'm with my friends. I kind of play a bit of an IJ role with them.
Let me give you a little perspective on how it is for me. So I very much view it as it's like nested within for the social stuff. So it's just like everything's nested. It's like I have to figure out within my flex where the responsibility is, and it seems to be the same way for the twos. And it's very weird for the ones. It's like I have to have a goal, and it's like after I've been doing that and then found some people who connect to that goal, like even the way some ones will talk, if they haven't gotten control of it, is like, it's like I can't even stop myself from saying, oh, I'll help you out and I'll be your friend because of my goal. It's like, why are you making excuses? Why do you feel like you need to put that in? Like, it's kind of I keep doing it automatically, even though the person I'm talking to, I like and care about and view as a friend. But it's like it's hard to connect. Like all the ones I seem to talk to, they're like, it's like this. It's so hard to connect. It's so hard. Like, and I'm not seeing that in you.
Right. Okay.
I'm not seeing that in you. Now, there's more data. There's DE1 who connect because they're DE.
Right.
In a sense, but they seem so DI. You're like, oh my
God. Right. Like,
but yeah, I'm just like, every time I've talked to another one, I'm like, oh man, I know what you're going through, man.
Oh, right.
And I'm just like, I'm seeing your friend's stuff, and I'm not getting hit by, oh man, I know what you're going, like, I see the responsibility.
Right.
Yeah. We could call that resonation and all that stuff, but it's like it does. It's like it does often hit me across, like, oh, my fellow one. Oh, you little kid with your chip on your shoulder, and no one understands you, and that's how you feel.
Right.
And we all have that to some regard, but it's
really the top for them, huh?
Yeah, it's like, God damn it, I see this program running in my mind all the time. I see it running in my mind all the time. But like I said, like you were saying, I wanted to pull my friends with me.
Right. Yeah.
That seems more like the two thing.
Yeah, no, I definitely had. That's been a big thing. Is always I was being frustrated by the friends and the people because they weren't trying to go and do a thing.
Yes.
And
you want to be responsible with them. And I get down to that too, where I'm like, oh, I've realized I need teammates. I need to work with others if I'm going to achieve anything. I need to be able to work with people. But it's like, it's taken a lot to process to be like, well, I have to teammates.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I just didn't see the flex. I didn't see the savior flex. And for me, there were times where I was trying to talk to people. I'm like, are you sure I'm a 1? Like, maybe I'm a 3. Maybe I'm not that responsible. And they're like, bro, you will not fucking stop flexing.
Oh my gosh.
Really? Like, they're like, we're sure you're a 1.
Is it because you're flexing like humble brag or something like that? Like, how does the flexing feel for you or look for you, I guess?
For the longest time, it was my novel, which I am letting that be a worldview that I'm setting down for a few years to see if it comes back to me.
Right.
The story.
Right.
But like, even I went on a date and I got a spicy chicken sandwich, and as I'm like, it was hot, hotter, or super hot, and I was like, oh, the hot will just be mild. I'll just get the hot and blah blah. And as
Right.
I take a bite of it, I'm like, holy shit, this is way too hot. And I'm like telling the girl, I'm like, this is so spicy. She takes like this big a crumb, and she's like, my mouth is watering. I can't believe you're. I'm like, it's all willpower. No, I just keep eating. Like part of it's a joke, but part of it's like I have so much willpower you don't even know. Like, and I have to make a joke out of it at this point. It's like it's and then even then it's like, you know, some friends were telling me like, oh, this is what's being said about, you know, oh, he's talking about how he got a bunch of dates. At least he's not talking about his book still. Like, it's just like,
okay. It's just like you can't stop sort of bringing the story back to what I'm doing that's awesome in my life type of thing. Or like, here's why, you know.
I'll tell you, I feel like I had to pull some of it out of you. Even though you have a lot of great stuff.
Thank
you. So much. I'm inspired. I'll
Thank
tell
you.
that.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I also feel, you know what? Okay, I see the two-part in that what you just said, because I remember watching when Dave was talking about being a two and how like the whole love language is like each person has whatever, and how the twos are weird about like hearing praise, but the ones are like, I'll take it. You know, I'm kind of weird about it. It's true.
I know that with the twos, and there are like times where I'm like, fuck, I can't go talk to this person unless I have some active service. Like, I want to give them active service. I know talking to Dave, I can't just go, I'm sorry and you're great and blah blah blah. It's like, oh, like I should pick up a shovel.
Right.
I should pick up a shovel. That's how I should serve a two. And I appreciate when people do active service for me too. Right. But I know I like compliments better. It's like,
right. You keep them coming.
Like, someone says, "Give me a compliment, keep it coming."
Yeah.
It was almost comical. I was on the phone with someone the other day, and I was like doing the laundry, and someone else started talking. I'm like, and the person complimented. I was like, "Wait, what did you say?" And it was like, "You're joking with me right now. You're joking with me right now." I'm like, "No, I didn't." Like, that bad. And it was kind of funny. Like,
he's like,
being a one is cringe and comical. Because it's totally a delusion, but it will drive you.
I'm not gonna lie though. I think I always feel guilty because I do flex. I think maybe that's the thing is that I see the flex and I do flex, but like everyone flexes probably, right? But like I feel guilty about it because I'm just like when I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, that's a flex.
You feel guilty about it. I feel obligated, irrationally.
Okay.
Right. So it's like, can I tell you how many times ones on the show? Don't you feel like you have to have flex to have friends? I've had multiple ones say that.
Really?
Multiple ones say that, and as I'm watching it from the outside, I go, "That's not real. You don't need to flex to have friends." And that's what I've figured out myself. You don't need to flex to have friends. They don't fucking care.
When you say flex to have friends, you mean them thinking you're awesome is going to drive them closer to you, type of thing?
I'm not. Here's what I'll say. Here's a social dynamic thing I see.
Right.
When I go out. So I've joined some running clubs. There are people who are the mainstay, people who are planning it. I'm the new guy. I'm quiet with them because I'm in the child role. A new guy shows up and I'm like, hey, jokes. And now these people I'm like, I'll take you under my wing. And these people who watch me come and be quiet and mopey and blah, they're like, I'm like, they have to be weirded out by this. This has to be seen as weird because I'm so uncomfortable if I'm not the adult role, even if I am a child.
Right. I get
But you will have that too because of the responsibility as well.
Yeah, I definitely like I'm trying to think if there's ever a shift. Because I'll do it if the person feels more introverted for sure. Because I'll be like, well, I want to make them feel like at home. Like, oh, what's up, bro? Like, hey, what do you think? I'm like trying to get them involved or whatever. And then they'll like it. They'll feel that. But I'm not always that either. Because that's where I feel, this is sliding. That's where I feel weird, is that I'll be like, there'll be a time where I'm just like, oh, I can't put on the EP right now. You know, I gotta just like, maybe it's just sleep mode or whatever, and I'm just like, you know, in responsibility state, not friend state, and they'll be like, he's different right now, and I feel bad, but I'm like I just don't like, I'm not in that mood today, you know. So like, but I'm trying to think if there's ever a new person. I don't know. I don't think I quite do. I don't know. The tribe of that my friends already see me as the adult.
Yeah.
I'm not like necessarily organizing it, but when I'm there, I'm like, they're like, what should we do? And I'm like, let's do this, let's do that, let's go here, let's do that. So I'm IJing it a little bit, and I'm kind of like orchestrating it, and when I'm a part of it. And
so I should caveat it that like both ones and twos would want broad responsibility, responsible for everything adult role,
right,
in everything, whereas the specializer, it's really a spectrum thing. It's really spectrum responsibility versus narrow responsibility. But yeah, like that's the way I see it. Where but it's like, it's just like the macro of it is, I'm so unhappy
right,
not being the guy who's, I'll take you under my wing,
right.
because I'm awesome. And
Oh, I see. So that's part of the flex, is like needing that perspective on the self, sort of tailoring the perceived image type of thing.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like,
And be the number one guy. Like, he's number one, so he's gonna come and talk to me. Is that some of it?
He's number one, so he is gonna talk to me. I don't know.
It's like this idea of like, because you're the number one, then you're like, I own this place. Like, come walk with me, you know?
Yeah, even when you don't own the place.
Right.
Even when you don't own the place.
Okay.
And if you don't get into that zone, like he's just like. So it's just something when I'm just saying, I was seeing demon flex in you, and we all have flex. I see flex in the fours.
Right.
But it's just like, and I've seen this with the save your friends. People were like, I'll do it for all the other 3 social needs. When I see like the friends, people will be like, I'll see that I need to flex to do the friends to get more friends. Like, right. Or I have something valuable for the tribe, and I very much care about the friends in the tribe and all that stuff. Like, so it's like, I see the twos are like, I'm so responsible, and part of being responsible is, well, the twos kind of, you will see this, the twos will look up to the, I've heard them say this, we look up to the ones. I'm like, don't look up to the ones, we're terrible, but also look up to us, please. Just love hate, but they'll be like, Owen Cook will talk about this, where he's like, I put on the puffy coat, I have the crazy beard, like I'm acting different from everyone and showing off, and I realize that is more effective. It's like, oh, that's effective for my responsibilities. But you do feel awkward about it. Whereas, like, seriously, the ones will not shut up about their flex. So it's just like, if I was seeing it in you, I'd tell you. That's all.
I'll tell you. I'm not mad at being a 2. I'm not mad at being a 2. It feels weird because I feel like my brain is doing imposter syndrome right now. Where it's like, you were lying to him. Like, you weren't being full on. Like, you weren't being. I don't know. I feel like I was like partially just. I mean,
because you mentioned to me you were thinking you were a 1. That's what you feel like you lied.
I
don't feel like you lied. I don't feel like you lied. Okay, fine. You lied. You lied to yourself. You lied to yourself, kid.
Yeah. We
all do it. I've lied to myself to get away with the flex.
Right.
And I realized it wasn't working anymore.
I don't know. I take your word for it, though. I just
you don't need to take my word for it. If people disagree, you can keep searching. But
no, everyone kept saying, because Ben was the same thing. I was talking to him, and he was like, "You're a 2, bro," and I was like, "Yeah, but I flex, a little bit."
I flex a little bit. Come on, man. Come on, man.
He was like,
I feel my hair.
Right. I was just like, come on, I flex.
Come on, let's
No,
go.
I think like it is weird though to get it out of me. Like even my friends, a lot of my friends don't work with me, so they don't know what I do.
Yeah.
And I'm just like I'm very like weird about talking about like if anyone's ever like asking like numbers or like so what's really going on, you know, I'm always just like I don't want to, you know, like
Well, that's the other thing that we've kind of noticed with the twos is actually they're the most elusive, like in the community. Usually because they're probably just busy.
right.
Whereas
Yeah.
the ones who are like, oh, this is a place for me to flex. Like
Yeah,
it can happen. Or it lines up with some of their goals, or they have something going on with it.
Right.
But the twos have been the hardest for me to find, like for interviews. I'll just say
I
that.
almost forgot today was the interview. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought about it like the week this week. I was thinking about it. I'm like, okay, remember 28th.
Do
It's my
do you
calendar.
put stuff on your calendar?
I do, but it's just
Oh, your calendar's full. I got you.
it looks awful. It's very sleepless. I'm like at 9:45, you know, like whatever. But today I was driving and I was like, it's like 4 hours. I was like, gotta be ready. So yeah, it's a nightmare. But
Well, hey man, since we're at the end of the interview, I'm just gonna tell you I was a little mad, and then once I got on with you, I was like, and actually listened to your story, I was like, now I'm happy.
thank you.
You know,
Yeah,
because I think this was totally worthwhile.
Oh man, hey, no, I'm blushing now. But no, this was a good interview, bro. It was good talking with you.
That's another trick that ones have.
Yeah.
They like buttering people up.
Oh really?
We want compliments. We can give compliments. We're happy to give them. And I mean, here's the thing: it's actually really hard for me to give compliments I don't mean.
Really? Okay. It makes me feel better because I know you mean it. You know, I'm like squirming. I'm like compliments. Like
see.
Yeah, that's weird.
See.
No man, but I'll give you. I know. Listen, hey, if you're a one, you're the least annoying of the ones because I know like.
I've been annoying. Trust me, everyone who's done. I've been annoying. I've worked on it.
No, it's all right, man. It's been an hour and I do not feel annoyed at all. Like I know ones in my head I'm thinking about that I'm just like, like sometimes it's hard to.
I know. I know how it is. But okay, I think we're ready to wrap up.
We did it,
Jaxson. Thank you so much for coming on. I had a great time. I hope you got something out of it.
Yeah, I did. I got lots out of it. I feel like I learned. We talked. We did it. You know.
Yeah.
It was good, bro.
Well, to whoever watches this in memoriam, goodbye, and thanks for watching. Ending the stream.